But listen, Miss Pugh, don't speak over me. Miss Pugh, just because you say respectfully does not mean that you get to interrupt me. That's disrespectful, right? Hang on. Listen, Miss Pugh, stop talking over me. If you want to stop talking over me.
Where is the verified claim that is being placed against my trust?
You can go back with the bailiff. Go back with the bailiff. Get your own attorney or represent yourself if you don't like it.
All right, guys. Today we've got a no-nonsense judge facing off against a classic sovereign citizen, and trust me, it's a wild one. This girl walked into court clutching a tiny piece of paper, convinced that her so-called legal bombshell was going to blow the case wide open. Spoiler alert, it didn't. Instead, she rattled off the usual sovereign citizen nonsense, expecting to walk out scot-free. Honestly, the real shocker here, that she could even read that script in the first place. This is about to get interesting. Let me know in the comments what you think of this train wreck. And let's dive in to see how this courtroom showdown unfolds.
Good morning. Are you Janetta Pugh?
I am the beneficiary of that estate.
You're the what?
I am the beneficiary of that estate.
You're the beneficiary of what estate? Answer my questions, please, ma'am. I'm just trying to understand.
Beneficiary of that estate.
Okay.
For the record, I recognize Ms. Pugh. She's been here before.
I do as well, for the record.
And I looked into Mr. Christopher Wiley. I can't find that person as a practicing lawyer in the state bar page, and I have not been contacted by anybody on Ms. Pugh's behalf.
All right. So, Ms. Pugh, Mr. Lewis has been appointed to represent you at this point. Obviously, you know as well as anyone that you're in custody and we want to get your case taken care of. If you've hired or your family has hired another lawyer, then they have to contact the court so that we can do something with your case. And do you know if they've hired someone?
Respectfully, Your Honor, I do not agree with your appointed foreign agents, considering that the first duty is to the state and will be considered conflict of interest. You know?
Okay, so if you don't want, the only thing I can do, I'm appointing an attorney to you to help you, right? So if you don't want a court-appointed attorney, then your only option, two things. One is to represent yourself or to hire a lawyer. So if you don't like the way it works, then you do something different. So are you, listen to what I'm saying. Are you either going to represent yourself, or are you going to let Mr. Lewis represent you, or are you going to hire someone?
Objection, Your Honor. Respectfully, is this a court of record?
It is a court of record. So your objection's overruled.
Okay. Respectfully, Your Honor, where is the verified claim that is being placed against my trust?
It's right here. It's called an indictment. And Mr. Lewis has a copy of it, and he can show it to you. So that would be the verified claim against you.
Okay. Your Honor, respectfully, Your Honor, there were writs that was filed to the case that still haven't been received.
I've received your petition for writ of habeas corpus, and it's denied.
Okay. Respectfully, Your Honor, I demand to be released due to lack of evidence of stated claim and not being given the proper opportunity to obtain proper counsel defective defense.
It's overruled.
Okay.
You're running out, aren't you?
No, it's fine.
This is definitely not fine. You're making a complete fool of yourself, and honestly, we're all here for it. I have to say, though, I'm loving this judge's patience. She's just sitting there, waiting for this girl to run out of steam from her nonsense sovereign citizen script. It's hilarious how these people always think they've unlocked some secret legal cheat code, when in reality, the law just doesn't work that way. The courts have ruled over and over that saying "I don't consent" doesn't magically erase charges. That's just not how jurisdiction works, and honestly, I'm kind of amazed this sovereign citizen even managed to read her script, because let's be real, that's a rare skill in this community. But serious, how did she even get here? What was her thought process? She actually seems polite, calling the judge Your Honor, but she's clearly out of her depth and just grasping at straws. Let me know in the comments, how does someone fall this deep into the rabbit hole? It's one thing to read about this sovereign citizen nonsense, but actually trying it in court, that's a whole new level of delusion. Anyway, this mess isn't over yet, so let's dive back in and watch how it all unfolds.
So here's the thing, Miss Pugh. I appreciate your position, but listen,
Respectfully, Your Honor,
Miss Pugh, don't
with my
speak over me.
incarceration, respectfully, Your Honor, with my incarceration.
Miss Pugh, just because you say respectfully does not mean that you get to interrupt me. That's disrespectful, right? Hang on. Listen to me. Everything you have there is overruled. And here's one of the reasons why, is because you have a lawyer. And your lawyer will file the appropriate motion. You're interrupting me again, which is disrespectful. So I'm going to leave Mr. Lewis as your attorney unless you choose to represent yourself or hire someone else. I'm going to give you 2 weeks to determine what you're going to do. You can go back. You can go back with the bailiff.
I do not agree or comply to your appointed.
Go back.
Agents.
You already said that, and that's overruled.
Duty is to the state.
Go back with the bailiff. Get your own attorney or represent yourself if you don't like it.
Pia, that was beyond embarrassing, but hold on. Because this saga isn't over yet. This sovereign citizen actually comes back for another hearing. And don't worry, I've got you covered on that 1 to dot at this point. I feel like the judge deserves a medal for patience. Dealing with a sovereign citizen like this is basically like arguing with a brick wall. Except this brick wall thinks it has a law degree. Seriously, big props to the judge for staying composed. She's handling it with the perfect mix of patience and snappy comebacks, which honestly makes this even more entertaining. But what do you guys think? Is she being too lenient, or is she playing it just right? Either way, let's jump into the next hearing and see if things somehow get even more ridiculous than they already are. Let's dive in.
So, Miss Pugh, Mr. Jeffries has been appointed to represent you. He's just been given, he's trying to get caught up real quickly on all the information and the discovery in your case. I'm going to reset your case so that he can get all of that. Once he gets it, he'll be out there to go over it with you, and we'll see if we can get an announcement at the next court date.
Respectfully, Your Honor, I do not agree to comply with any of the appointed court agents, considering that their first duty is to the state.
I understand. We've had this conversation before.
Conflict of interest. And for the record, I'll be representing myself.
So if you want to represent yourself, there's some things. Ms. Pugh, stop talking over me. If you want to stop talking over me. If you want to represent yourself, then there is a process that we have to go through, and we'll do that today. If that's what you want to do, we'll get your case set for trial and we'll go forward that way. It is highly inadvisable for you to represent yourself. Lawyers have many, many years of training. They understand the law. They understand how a trial works, because here's what happens. When you're in a trial and you represent yourself, you're expected to know and follow all of the rules of evidence, all the rules of procedure. And so you're really at a disadvantage if you don't know those things. And so you have to do everything just like the assistant district attorney would. And if you don't, you're going to be in front of a jury and it's going to show, and it's just not going to be, it usually does not work out in your benefit. But I have to go through with you some questions first before we do that. And then if you still want to do that, then there's a couple of things couple of options, and we'll go over those as well. Okay. So I am supposed to ask you, I'm going to go through these questions. I need you to answer them if you want to represent yourself, because this is required. All right. So have you ever studied the law?
Yes,
Okay. Have you ever represented yourself before in any kind of criminal matter? Okay. Do you understand the charges against you?
I know we've been accused of.
Okay. And so do you know, and we've gone over before, I think, what the range of punishment is if you're found guilty on a jury? Do you know what that is? Let's see. Hold on a second. Let me pull you up here. We'll go over that again as well. The date of that allegations from June 22nd of 2021. And what that means is if you're found guilty, that the range of punishment that the jury could give you is between 2 years as a minimum punishment up to 10 years in prison, anywhere in between. Do you understand? I need you to answer out loud just for the record.
Do I understand? No, I don't understand.
What do you not understand about that?
We swear I knew she was going to say that. At this point, these sovereign citizens have completely infiltrated my brain. I am literally losing brain cells breaking down their nonsense. Every single